Welcome Sagittarius to your in-depth monthly horoscope for December 2023 for the Sun or the Ascendant. I'm going to give you some standout details to look out for, but please stay with me. I will explore in much greater depth all the ins and outs particularly relevant to your sign. Now I want you to mark in your diary the 12th because that's when there is a new moon in your sign. Mars is pretty close in attendance, but the key is the Sun arcs towards the North Node in your sister fire sign of Aries. Your instincts, very much to do with the first house energy, can be rewarded where you want to invest in the creative elements of life, but also passion, where you feel warmth, where you want to have fun and experience joyfulness. So you get a real uplift from this particular event. I've also got to tell you that Mercury is going to be leaving your sign on the 1st, but returning on the 23rd. But you also have Venus arriving in Sagittarius on the 29th. So lots to share with you. Please stay with me for more. Now, if you've yet to order your personal horoscope for year 2024, if you do so now, you can still get the rest of this year free. But also my special package, you'll get your character analysis report, your life roadmap, and 30% off, but also your year 2024 zodiac forecast for each of the 12 signs, but also Indian forecast for each of the 12 signs, and Chinese forecast for each of the 12 animal signs. Totally free of charge, those booklets. Please see the link below for more. So Sagittarius, as you burst your way into December 2023, you have an awesome lineup of the Sun, Mercury and Mars all in your sign. But Mercury is about to say au revoir later on the first day. But even from the 25th, when it entered its pre-retrograde shadow, which is the period that comes before a retrograde, which this month begins on the 13th, you may have found that some of your ideas were sort of slowing down in terms of the energy you had for them, even though Mars has been giving you a lot of thrust and can continue to do so this month. Also interesting, on the 4th, Venus moves from its wonderful transition through the sign of Libra, which is really giving you an opportunity to socialize and connect to people, and it moves into your 12th house. Now, obviously, the Christmas period can be one of very mixed emotions. Yes, it can be a time to have joyous celebrations and be with the people that really matter. But with Venus in the 12th house, it could see you being very, very nostalgic. It could be for people, family members who no longer are with you. And it could be linked to a romantic situation. Then again, the first house energy that you enter this month with is pushing you to be much more decisive and take action based on your needs and not actually be so worried about what other people think. And because little by little with Neptune's influence and then more urgently with Saturn since the 7th of March, your 4th solar house to do with emotions has been activated very strongly this year. And also with Neptune being in a retrograde for 22.5 weeks from the end of June, it hasn't necessarily been plain sailing to focus on what you've wanted to do for you. So that Venus transition into Scorpio, where Venus is detrimented, could see you then become, in a way, with two parallel energies running. On one hand, the Sun and Mars are asking you to drive forwards passionately and stay single-minded, but Venus can see you thinking about a relationship matter. Now, if you've got a partnership that's not working so well and someone's not very supportive about what you want to do, or it could be even a family member that's putting sort of some ideas into the mix about some of the things that you're passionate about that could be a little bit doubting or judgmental, that can be tough going. So what Venus does in the 12th is makes you much more attuned to the psychological dimension of relationships. And it's possible that if a relationship is weak, it could be influenced quite a lot by Venus in the 12th house. But on the 6th, Neptune does end that 158-day retrograde. Now, we all know that we have the retrogrades each year on all but the Sun and the Moon, which are known as the luminaries, not technically planets. But Neptune is a very subtle one, particularly as it's been with you since 212 in your sector of emotion, probably creating quite a lot of the desire to create the space and the quiet and tranquility and the spiritual dimension you're craving for, but also maybe some disappointments and illusions around where to live and who with. And the harsh energies of Saturn that have come in this year have been an added dimension to that part of your situation. So because you are such a positive, dynamic zodiac sign who likes to dust yourself down when you do have setbacks and you can really get on the front foot again, I think Saturn joining Neptune, and now with this Venus 12th house position, despite Neptune going forwards, it still applies in 3 phases this month to what you want to do as an individual. And I'll unpack this for you as we go forwards. But initially, Neptune going forwards is obviously something to celebrate. But the 12th sees the new moon in your sign. And as I mentioned, arcing brilliantly to the North Node. Your instincts, particularly around creative strands, can really be heightened by this. But it's giving you a lot of thrust because Mars is quite close. But just be aware that Neptune is just outside, but is applying from that point through to the 19th to the Sun, and you could start to doubt yourself, and you might start to have double takes. Am I doing the right thing? Why are people making these comments that aren't entirely supportive? Why is someone not really giving me more encouragement? Why do I feel a little bit doubtful of my own ability to pull off this dramatic idea, scheme, business idea or relationship plan that I really want to bring into fruition? So it's vital that you don't let Neptune self-sabotage you at this stage, and just be aware that something or someone could try and test your faith. But remember, your sign is ruled by Jupiter, the planet of faith. Not quite so much through your sign, it's more the planets of philosophy in Sagittarius, but through Jupiter's influence of Pisces. But then on the 13th, Mercury goes retrograde in Capricorn, the 2nd house for you. This is asking you to be a bit shrewd about money. Now, we've all had a year where we've had to sort of, make tweaks because the cost of living's gone up pretty well everywhere, every item we can think of. So Mercury retrograde here is just asking you to think, to be canny, not get too caught up in generosity. You can be a larger than life character and very, very, very kind. And if there's someone you really want to spoil, Mercury, I feel, is just saying, keep with any budget that you've set. Don't bend from that. But the 18th to the 23rd is interesting because Venus goes opposite Uranus. Uranus is in your 6th house, which is practicalities, everyday routines, can be work. Is there somebody in your work situation that actually holds a little bit of a candle for you? Because you may find out from the 18th to the 23rd, and it could really make your heart race. Because one of the things that can happen with Venus in the 12th house, it can actually be where someone develops a secret crush. Yes, the 12th house can be about secret enemies, but it also can be about clandestine relationships. And because Uranus is in your sector of work, and Uranus likes space from Venus, so someone may be attracted to have a bit of a fling with you, or maybe it's you who wants to have a passionate moment without too many ongoing responsibilities. But also be aware that in an existing relationship, if Venus is making you feel that you're not getting what you need, Uranus and Venus in opposition can separate unquestionably. So there could be some tensions if a relationship isn't working well. You're not getting that emotional support, Saturn and Neptune in the 4th. You're not really getting the more psychological encouragement, Venus 12, and you want to focus on your goals, and the other person feels that you're being too selfish and not thinking of them, which may not be true at all. Sometimes in life, if we really want a prize, we have to apply ourselves, and that does mean making some sacrifices, and it doesn't mean that we get everything we want in order to keep chipping away towards that golden prize. But the 22nd sees the sun transition out of your sign into Capricorn and ushers in the winter solstice and cardinal quadrant 4, the last quarter of the astrological calendar, which begins with the spring equinox. So for you, the next 13 weeks, despite Mercury's retrograde, is going to see you being very much earthed into the foundational elements of your life, but I don't want you to think that you can't still keep being creative, inventive, groundbreaking, developing ideas that other people may resist because you've got that dash of buccaneering energy about you. And on the 23rd, Mercury rewinds back into your sign. And on Christmas Day, the moon is in your sector of relating, which is a great place for it to be, because usually we'll go that little bit of an extra mile in order to try and find some equilibrium, some harmony. But darn, Neptune's there again in a square. Something may seem a bit confusing. Don't rush to judgment. The full moon on the 27th actually links into your ruler Jupiter, but also the stern Saturn. In fact, they're in a great relationship the last 2 weeks of this month, and also for the early part of 2024. Jupiter is about go, 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 and Saturn can be about no, no, no. So if you put the two together, you get a balanced go. You get a go that's well thought through, structured, that's realistic. And Saturn can actually bring rewards where we work hard. So because Jupiter's in 6, health, fitness, organisation, work, Saturn in 4th, I feel you're going to be realistic as you come to the end of this year. The 29th, however, in terms of romance, is fantastic. Venus switches to your sign. If you have gone through a worrying period in an existing relationship and not quite sure how it will play out, you're going to find out the solution. Also, your ruler Jupiter forges a stunning alliance to the Sun from the 25th to the 28th, exact 27th, but they're still in touch with each other as we come to the end of the year. As you know, I tend to use a 3-degree orb, and Jupiter then goes direct on the 31st, ending a 4-month retrograde. So if your physical vitality has been a bit depleted in the last third of 2023, it wouldn't be a complete surprise, especially with the nervous energy that Uranus has been creating. But what we have is that Mercury then, in its retrograde, its retreat, meets the advancing Mars, and they connect as this year comes to a close. But Neptune's there again in a square with them. So with Venus joining Mercury and Mars in your sign, you're going to feel absolutely gorgeous as this year comes to a close. But again, that little voice on your shoulder, Neptune, could be saying, am I worthwhile? Am I valuable? Am I emotionally sound? Am I worthy of the good things I can create and visualize and manifest in my life? And the answer is yes, yes, yes. You've got to believe in yourself. What's happening is the spiritual dimension that Neptune's brought to your life since 2012 is being tested by the rugged, more brutal, cold energies of Saturn. You've got to stand up to it. And the things that do give you your emotional bedrock, whether it's your belief system, your generosity of spirit, your kindness, your friendships, your interests, where you've got great skills, just acknowledge them. And as you come to the end of this year, there's a big drum roll to say, look, I'm gorgeous. So although we do have the Sun and Pluto in the earthy and sometimes dour Capricorn, actually you've got this band of I was going to say brothers, this band of peeps, to use that modern word, coming together in your sign, and you're going to feel gorgeous as the curtain comes down on this year. just be aware, because the year begins with Mercury in retrograde in your sign, alongside Mars, you're going to be more impulsive in 24. Good for you, particularly from the 23rd of May, when Jupiter goes into your sector of relating. But I feel that there's going to be some devilment about you, which is good. I think the devilment has taken quite a beating over recent years, with all the transitions of Saturn and obviously Pluto for a long time in the sign of Capricorn. And so your self-worth has been tested, money's been tight. Then obviously Saturn going through Aquarius, it's your mode of communication has been challenged at times. Now it's in the fourth. You've got to fight for what you want in terms of the emotional basis of your life. But I think you have to be uniquely you to feel happy. If you're bending yourself into someone else's format for that emotional identikit, it's not going to work, because you're a free spirit, just like Aquarians. You have to march to the sound of your own drum. So if you can find the adjustments to get your home life as you want, but keep thrusting forwards with the individual part of your nature, you're going to be a star in 2024, because the Sun linking to the site to Jupiter really gives you an opportunity to improve your finances next year, but also improve your sense of self-worth, which Pluto's been testing manifestly since 2008, but it's going to move on January the 21st. Obviously, it's going to come back later in the year for those few weeks, but you're nearly at the end of that, and you're going to start to manifest your ideas, your brilliance, your sunshine in a much greater way as this year comes to a close. And although there is the full moon, which occurs on the 27th, and it may mean there could be some juggling to do around resources that you need to think about, I feel that Saturn's going to help you on this particular full moon to just get the right balance. If you're on your own for Christmas Day, do know you will be in my thoughts. But whatever you're doing over the festivities, I'd like to wish you a very happy Christmas. All the best for 24. And if you would be so kind, please like, comment, share, or subscribe.